Jim, everyone. This is Dr. Josh from Crypto Mondays Global. I'm super excited here, standing in front of the Louvre in Paris at Paris Blockchain Week with Michael representing BitVault. So, at BitVault is different than the guy I was just talking to, Vault 12, which was about inheritance protocol. BitVault is about something way more interesting related to people wanting to lend money and borrow money. Tell us about BitVault, man.
Yeah, BitVault is a BTC-backed stablecoin. It is a opportunity where you can actually use your Bitcoin to earn real yield on Bitcoin. You can mint a stablecoin that you can stake into strategies managed by our partners that trade these strategies on centralized exchanges, and you can earn double-digit yield with these stablecoins.
Wow. And so how does it stay stable with Bitcoin?
So what we do is we take the Bitcoin and we over-collateralize the minting of the stablecoin. So you're basically posting collateral at a LTV of 40 to 50%. You're minting essentially half of the supply in the stable and the dollar amount of the supply. And then you're taking that stable coin and you're burying it into our ecosystem, which allows you to generate this yield.
Wow. Whose idea was this? Was this your idea?
To be honest with you, the inspiration came from Athena, but this is very Bitcoin-centric. And the reason why it's Bitcoin-centric is because we at BitVault, and I personally believe that Bitcoin is decoupling from the financial system altogether.
Okay.
It's decoupling from the US dollar, from the euro, everything. And I think at this point in time, 2025, on top of with everything that's happening, in the global economy, the US economy with the tariffs, alts as a digital asset, as a trusted digital asset, are kind of like falling off. And because Bitcoin is sort of like standing strong comparatively to everything else, it really is becoming increasingly that digital gold that we've been talking about for so long. And if you have an opportunity to use your Bitcoin to earn real yield by, devising something like BitVault, it's super interesting for all the Bitcoin whales and holders out there.
Right. And so who else is doing this? Is this the first Bitcoin-backed stable coin or is this just the first one that's using such a over-collateralized and other factor system?
Yeah, there's a few. Athena. There's Avalon that just came about. I would say this year is going to be a very interesting year with stablecoins just coming out.
Oh yeah. August.
Yeah.
Big thing, yeah.
There's a few, and the reason why it's happening is because the opportunity for just revenue alone in the protocol, and this is the reason why Donald Trump wants to create a stable coin. If you read in the media.
Yeah.
He wants to replace the US dollar with his stable coin. This is what he's tweeting about. Right?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes. And it's I guess it makes sense. And it also makes sense with all of the deregulation that's happening in crypto in America right now.
Except the stable coin is backed by the US dollar. Collateralized. His is.
There.
No?
So I'm not exactly sure his setup, but in terms of creating a stable coin in general, you need to have a lot of collateral backing it up, because ultimately on a bad, a black swan type of scenario, which is kind of happening today, with the tariffs, you need enough in the bank to essentially pay for the liquidations.
Right. And this is what didn't work with Luna and the algorithmic stable coin.
Yeah, you can't. So when you create a stable coin and you open it up to the wilds, it's a problem, because generally how these things work is you need to mint them, and then when people essentially see an arbitrage opportunity to redeem, they redeem it. And so if you have that open in the wilds, and on days where Bitcoin goes down 20 or 30%, people freak out.
Right.
And that can cause a bank run. So, for BitVault, we're very permissioned. We're a very white glove service. We choose which LPs that can mint the stable coin. So it's very good for the institutions to take their Bitcoin and earn Bitcoin yield.
Right.
But then the stable coin is open to retail, to anyone, so they can buy it.
So that's the key, is they can basically use their Bitcoin to then back your stable coin, and then they can get maybe it's a 5%, maybe it's a 3%, but it's a lot more trustworthy than something that could get them a 20% return, but isn't backed up and can go in the Wild West.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it could fall apart tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you hear the term capital efficiency all the time. I mean, now you have more of these like liquid staking type protocols that are earning like 2 to 3% just by staking Bitcoin. We can take those LSTs into our protocol, and so just by holding the Bitcoin in our protocol, you're reducing the amount that you essentially pay for the loan. So the protocol is actually that much more capital efficient because it takes these Bitcoin derivatives, these LSTs, and you can mint the BBUSD. But the BBUSD is a stablecoin. So it's a new era of like Bitcoin yield on stablecoins, and honestly, I think right now we're in a very unique position to launch this next month. But there will definitely be more protocols coming out.
So your launch is next month.
Yeah.
All right, you excited?
I'm excited.
Right? Oh, what are you doing for the launch? What do you guys? You have your partners already. You have some clients already, and then you're going to launch in the States.
We're not launching in the States.
No, anywhere but.
Anywhere but.
Because obviously the August.
Yes.
And so forth.
Yes.
Trump and everything.
Right now, it's a lot of risk management and security that we're just like focusing on right now. So we are auditing our code. The audit is basically done.
Excellent.
We're going to be doing a closed beta, sort of like testing and just internally, giving it to a few of the LPs that are minting the stablecoin, and then, because it's a stablecoin, there are certain venues that we need to, launch liquidity on AMMs like Curve, Uniswap. We need to basically finalize terms with centralized exchanges. So ultimately, we're just preparing everything in a very
systematic way. Yeah, in order to make sure everything runs smoothly.
Exactly.
Now, in the sense of other currencies, because I've heard about the US dollar-backed stablecoin and this and that, and the US dollar. I mean, I understand the dominance of the US dollar. I understand that the euro now is basically taking a back seat, but that doesn't stop BRICS. That doesn't stop this. Where do you see the Bitcoin-backed stablecoin movement or idea in relation to other currencies than the U.S. dollar? And do you have a foot in those markets when and if they emerge?
Well, I think the one thing that you do see that's happening in the United States, for example, is the embracing of crypto, essentially, in general, is, I think, at some point going to welcome. I mean, Trump's whole thing, he wants to make crypto America the center of crypto world. And from all the policy changes that he's making right now, it seems like he's actually following through on that, regardless of all the other crazy stuff that's happening. So someone that's building a stable coin or just anything in DeFi or crypto in general, it's a very good sign that at some point America will embrace this. Also, the stablecoin regulation is becoming a lot more lenient over there.
Right.
So, and if you just look at the most important, let's say, jurisdiction in the world, it is America. I mean, Southeast Asia and how they've embraced crypto is obviously very good, and I think a lot of business has been done there. But I mean, still, most of the cash and most of the business is done in the States. So, I don't know what's going to happen in Europe. It's very dicey here. For emerging markets, places like Thailand, Vietnam, they're for sure trying to get on board with not only stablecoins, just crypto in general.
Right.
But I mean, really,
a lot of users.
Really, at the end of the day, if America does embrace crypto overall, I think that's, imagine Bitcoin becomes actually an asset in the treasury of the Fed. The whole world will follow.
Oh yeah. So exactly.
This is part of our outlook, our anticipation of what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think I think that you created a new acronym, a new term Make America the center of crypto,
Yeah.
right? There you go. Michael from BitVault.
I want the red hat.
He's got it right about Make America the center of crypto. They're trying to do not necessarily that, because of course they have to launch in other places until the jurisdiction is clear and all the regulatory stuff's clear. But congratulations on your launch of BitVault. And if we'll put information in the description. Make sure if you're interested in putting your Bitcoin, backing it, or using it to do things like this with stablecoins, then check out their information. And then you can also find them and contact them there. Make sure to like and subscribe and share with your friends. Go to Crypto Mondays. We love you. Get some Bitcoin, not financial advice.